Hey guys, it's ToProForuGames, and today's video is all about Voyage of Despair. I'll be going over 6 things that I hate about this map, and it's kind of funny because before the release of ToProForuGames, the one map that I was the most hyped for and convinced was going to be the best was Voyage, and honestly guys, it really isn't all that good. Now, I'm not saying that it is a bad map. At this point, I would just say it's the worst map in ToProForuGames. But it's a map that I think was a little bit overhyped, and I want you guys to let me know right now in the comments, what was the map that you guys were most hyped for before the release of BO4? And of course, guys, you know the drill. If you guys have any crazy clips or glitches or funny bugs here in BO4Zombies, you want to go ahead and be on the channel, go ahead and submit all of those clips to Twitter or the email you see on screen right now. Besides that, let's go ahead and jump into the 6 things that I hate about Voyage of Despair. Starting things off here in the number 6 spot, the solo Easter egg on Voyage is kind of rough. I feel like you have to have at least another player or 3 or 4 players, but then again, no matter how many players you have, you'll probably just end up crashing, but not including crashes because obviously it's happening across all Easter eggs and all maps. Just the solo Easter egg on this map is really rough and can be kind of frustrating. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't attempted this Easter egg too many times just because whenever I do, my game ends up crashing. So I'm gonna wait a little bit until Treyarch goes and fixes all of these crashes before I attempt the majority of the eggs here in BO4Zombies. But from what I've heard and what I've read, some steps are just crazy tough and solo, and I think that has to do a lot with the map itself, which I'll talk about later in the video. But from what I've seen, this Easter egg is tuned more for a squad instead of doing it solo. Coming in at the number 5 spot, this one is pretty specific, but it annoys the hell out of me, and that is buildable parts, and specifically shield parts, because this map, literally, if you go on this map and you don't look up guides, you're screwed, because trying to find the parts for the shield are next to impossible because almost everything on this map actually looks like a shield part. The reason I even bring this up is because finding shield parts, for example, on IX really isn't that big of a deal. They stand out, and it's just kind of obvious where they are. On a map like this, I remember when I played this map for the first time, finding the shield parts was such a headache that I just gave up because there are literally a billion spots these parts could be. Now, after looking up a guide, it's not that bad, but for people who maybe don't look up guides or they just want to find themselves, man, this map is pretty rough when it comes to finding parts. Coming in at the number 4 spot, does anybody else just hate the pad machine on this map? Because I do not like pack-a-punching, because first thing that drives me nuts is having to go around the entire map and activate all of those pack-a-punch like pedestals, which is not too bad the first couple of times, but after doing it like every single game, man, it's just really annoying and really tedious. And then on top of that, when you finally do get the pad machine opened up and spawned in, it moves so quickly, and here in BO4, you have to pack-a-punch like 5 times in order to fully upgrade your weapon, that it's just kind of annoying having to go from spot to spot on the map just to have your gun fully papped. Something I'll even do is I won't pap my gun until I know I have enough to pap from like non-pap all the way to fully upgraded, because there are so many times where I'll go to the pap machine and then I'll pap like halfway, and then all of a sudden the pap machine moves because I got there too late, or I waited too late to pap at the original location, and then I have to run across the entire map just to pap like 1 or 2 more times. It is just really annoying and really frustrating. Coming in at the number 4 spot, way too many Stokers on Voyage of Despair, and I think this again has to do with the map itself, because I don't find the gladiators on IX that big of a deal because the map is kind of more open and it's easy to train them. But here on Voyage, having these Stokers start spawning in on like round 10, and then on 20 you get like 2 around, so there are too many of these guys spawning in for this map. And then in co-op mode, when you're playing with like 2 players, you're getting like 10 of these things around in like the, you know, late 20s or early 30s. It just doesn't really work with the map that we have here. Again, for IX, it's fine, but since Voyage is more of a close quarters map, there are too many special zombies. Coming in at the 2 spot, we have no training spots, and this again has to do with the layout of the map itself. You have the spawn, which is an okay training spot, but it's not the greatest, and the only one that's actually good has to be like the power switch or where the artifact is, where the can is on the wall. It's an okay spot, it's pretty good. A lot of debris though, but overall, that is the only good one. But when you're playing with, you know, 2, 3, 4 players, things get a little tricky. This one right here is more me saying Voyage is just a tough map. If you're somebody that isn't really crazy good at zombies, Voyage is a map that might not be for you, but then again, you can change difficulty, so it's not all that bad. But yeah, definitely a lack of training spots, and I was kind of expecting there to be more than there actually is. Coming in at the number 1 spot, everything I've talked about so far all links to this one thing right here, and that is the layout of the map itself. It is confusing, and some areas are just so close quarters that if you're in that room or area for longer than like 10 seconds in the higher rounds, I'm talking like 20, 30, things just go downhill. I want to make it clear that I'm not complaining about the map layout or the close quarters combat just because the map is tough, right? Having tough maps is always great. Voyage is easily the hardest map here in BO4 Zombies at this point, but for me, it makes the map a little bit more tedious, right? Like downing and having to go, you know, to each level and all around the map to buy perks is kind of tedious. And same thing with Pack-a-Punch. I've already mentioned how papping on this map is kind of annoying. Another big one for me also is the box. I'll move the box and then I will just have no clue where it is because there are so many levels and there are some really strange box spawns that I just give up on finding the box and grab a wall gun instead. Now, I don't want all of this to kind of sound like I'm writing off Voyage and saying that it's a garbage map, because it definitely is not. Voyage, you know, could be one of my favorite maps at the end of BO4, but at this point right now, I think Voyage is the worst map out of what people are saying. Again, just because it's the worst map doesn't mean it's a horrible map, but I feel like as time goes on, I play it more, I'm sure I'll enjoy it more and more, but at this point, these are the 6 things that I do not like about this map. If you guys want me to do more of these for the other maps in BO4, please let me know in the comments below, and besides that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.